Happy to. Good evening and afternoon, everybody. Welcome back to the Tiny Talks workshop. Today's Inspector Chat Day, when we get to ask our burning questions of our knowledgeable inspectors. So happy Thursday. This will be our last night until Monday, when we will have Stephen Harrell with Tiny House Listings as our builder, telling how he's incorporating building NOAA certified homes into his business. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to, you guys never did tell me, I'm going to turn it over to Miss Sherry, our lovely operations manager. Thank you, Sherry.
Thank you, Leanne. We have just a couple of topics today that the inspectors were wanting to go over with everyone. The first one is when we start doing the inspections, Rich has said that it would be a lot easier to see everything they need to see if the units are clear of debris and trash, so that they can see everything that they need to see and maybe not get distracted or miss something because it's covered by debris. Rich, would you like to go further with that?
Yeah, I will. So yeah, what we're looking for is just that the unit is free, that it's open. Sometimes I know some builders, they set up like mini workstations because they're building the unit, they're figuring out things or planning their next steps and things like that, but or they're using it as a stockpile area for the tiny house, and then they take out the items as they need to. But for our purposes, for the inspection, we definitely need a clear unit to be able to see and do our job properly for you and us. So anybody's help be greatly appreciated. That's all I have.
Okay. Tony, you brought up something before everybody else came on. Would you like to go with that one?
Yeah, I wanted to talk about the loft windows in the loft. Because the windows in the loft wind up being so low to the floor, and they're actually almost level with the bed. I feel that the windows in the loft, really, we should be requiring them to be either tempered or some type of protection film on them, because it would be very easy for someone to roll over in bed and put their elbow through the window or a foot through the window or anything like that. So I think we should really consider letting the builders know that the windows are going to have to be protected either by a protective film or to be tempered.
Okay. And are we going to start doing requiring that right away, or is that going to be as of January 1st, like the rest of our?
We should probably phase it in,
Okay.
like, for the January 1st thing, because
Okay.
a lot of the builders already got their windows ordered.
Right.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Well, I have a question on that. What about bulletproof glass? Will that pass?
I would think it would. And in some
No, I'm
neighborhoods, you
serious.
actually need that today.
Yeah, no kidding.
I ended up with some windows that were bulletproof glass, and I didn't know whether they would serve in areas where you needed to have tempered glass or not.
I mean,
Bulletproof glass.
I've actually never looked that up, Robin, but
Wait a minute, Eric, hold that up there again.
if it could stand a bullet,
So
it could stand.
I feel the same way about bulletproof glass as bulletproof vest. They should be more like bullet resistant glass.
Yeah.
Bullet-resistant
We had a
glass.
bunch of scraps of it and had a lot of fun testing it.
It looks like it would withstand a kick or something like that. So I think we're
It's
okay with
really
it.
Thick, dense plexiglass. So,
man.
You might break a foot or an elbow, but
Yeah, right.
wouldn't break the glass.
You're not kidding. Yeah.
it's not glass even. That's what I'm saying.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Does anybody else have any questions on that, on the tempered glass for loft windows?
Are we still requiring covers on units, because that's only in NFPA 1192. It's not an ANSI standard.
Yeah, the only thing I've been requiring is, or telling them that they need to have, is if they have a front leading window. Especially some of the ones I've seen have been pretty big, that they'll either have to be tempered or they're gonna have to have some type of protection across them when they move that house.
Okay.
The next topic we wanted to discuss was exhaust fans in the bathrooms. Go, Rich.
Okay, so, tiny houses, there's always that major concern of ventilation in a tiny house, mainly condensation, the buildup of condensation. One instance that we actually just recently ran across was the builder had sold the tiny house to a client, and the client had the house for less than a month, I think, and they had a lot of plants. I mean, a lot of plants in the unit, and they were starting to experience problems already. So, and it's not just that aspect of it, but just ventilation in general. So, one of the items that I was considering was the exhaust fan is required, or some type of ventilation. And typically, I would say the vast majority of our builders use exhaust fans, bathroom exhaust fans. Would it be wise for us to add into 21 guidelines that the exhaust fan be placed on a timer, meaning it's on a 24-hour cycle, and the timer kicks the fan on for a predetermined time, let's say 10 minutes an hour, to help exhaust any air out of the unit. What are the feelings or input on that from anybody?
We found a lot of these exhaust fans that have a moisture humidistat sensor too that'll kick them on automatically. They're like $150, but well worth it.
Yeah, you know what?
That's what I was going to suggest.
That could be another option in replacement of a timer. So that may be
Right.
well worth it. Yeah, it's a good idea.
And it's got
Yeah,
some sort of a sensitivity adjustment.
Right. Right. Yeah, I think the humidistat would be much more beneficial for the homeowner.
Okay. All right.
And they're
Okay.
not expensive, and the whole thing, that's a whole lot cheaper than getting the whole house air exchange system. So that's that's an inexpensive way for them to go.
Yeah, and I
Really
always
nice.
I
Go ahead.
think that people leave the bathroom door open. I'm assuming so. Is that agreeable?
Yeah, I think most of them do.
Yeah.
I think the only thing about the air exchanger is it does adjust for heat and cold too. So if you've got heat inside, it'll, as you're exchanging the air, it does heat it or cool it. So that's a good thing. So, as a secondary option, I would say a humidistat would be fine. It's only going to take the humidity out of the bathroom, but that's where you're going to find most of your humidity anyway, with showers and everything. It's not a perfect world, but I like that idea of a humidistat, especially, when we're fighting moisture all the time.
Right.
So I guess what it comes down to is we can offer the option of, humidistat or the fan placed on a 24-hour timer, because they would both serve the same purpose, just different ways of achieving it.
Yeah. And all of these changes that we're talking about, are we talking about January 1, announcing them ahead of time and getting them
Yes.
implemented?
Yes,
All right.
I've got my list ongoing.
I have something to talk about too,
Okay,
when you
go
get
ahead.
finished, Sherry.
You go right ahead.
I talked with a building inspector across the street, was inspecting houses in our area yesterday, and probably Rich, you could chime in. Chad, you can chime in on this. He said that he had 44 inspections to do yesterday. Is that normal for a building inspector to have that many inspections?
For me, it varies wildly, because I'm not in one territory only. Like, for example, I usually handle 5 townships. So, they're all in this swooping area. But there could be times where I have up to 40 inspections, but that would strictly be in one township. There would be no way that I was leaving that township that day at all. But my schedule has calmed down quite a bit over the past couple of years, just because we realized that there's no way possible to do a reasonable job at 44 inspections and not get burnt out, period.
Right.
Yeah.
Chad, you want to chime in on that?
So when I was in Ohio inspecting, I covered 437 square miles of territory in a county, and I would get upwards of 25 inspections a day. And there was a lot of times where only one stop may only have 1 or 2 of those inspections. So we were severely overworked. Departments where they'll place one inspector in one subdivision, they could have up to 40, 50 inspections, but they're all right in the same subdivision, and you've got 4 or 5 of them going on at one house. So they may end up only having 10 or 12 stops. But yeah, that does seem to can be normal. It shouldn't have been normal for where I was with the square miles that we had to cover. But that's why I don't work there anymore. I'm now in Georgia.
Yeah. Well, I think he only had 2 subdivisions, but there were adjoining subdivisions. He had in this neighborhood that we're in, Summerfield, and there's a lot of building going on here, and then in the villages, and I know there's a lot of building going on in the villages. So that may be it. The other thing I asked him was what takes the longest time, and he said he spends a lot of time on his trusses when he inspects the roof system, that he has to make sure that he's worried about a hurricane and his license and everything, that if he messes up on the uplift and the hold downs and all of that on the hurricanes, that his neck could be on the line. So he spends a lot of time on those, but then on the other inspections, it sounds like he kind of runs through them. And if he knows the guy, he said the plumbing is his easiest inspection because he knows the plumber, he knows these plumbers or something. And so I kind of get the impression that it's like I always said that, these inspectors, if they know the builders, a lot of times they don't do a whole lot of inspecting, and they're relying on the builder to do their thing. So the other thing I was impressed with was his software that he had in his truck, and how he could just click, type notes, boom, go on to the next job. He didn't have to spend a whole lot of time making reports or anything. He could print out stuff and leave it on the job site if he needed to. It was just a real good software system. And I was wondering if we needed to take another look at City Reporter or one of the other software systems that we looked at in the past to kind of help us with our inspections to make it a little more streamlined. What's your thoughts on that?
What was the software that they were using? Do you remember?
We were using City Reporter. I think he's using Municity or one of those.
Yeah.
Okay. I currently use Blueprints here in Georgia. In Ohio, we used Viewpoint OpenGov, and that was a good software. It took a lot of setup, and there was a lot of glitches. But yeah, there's tons of stuff out there. It's just.
I think with us going more and more to take away some of the hand writing and stuff like that, I think it would be better to maybe try and look at a software like that to where you're just clicking in it, your reports are already there.
Mm.
Depending on what you know, and then you add the notes, what few notes you're gonna add for that, whatever that particular inspection is, but the body of the notes are already in place.
Yeah, I back up what Chad's saying about the different software, what he was saying about the or municipal and then, open gov and things like that. They're good, but those are more tailored towards municipalities. City Reporter is pretty decent. I'm sure there's other stuff out there. The one thing that was nice about City Reporter is, it's set up for remote.
Yes.
Yeah.
No,
Oh, nice.
yeah, no others that I'm really aware of that are set up for remote. But as far as software goes, yes, 100%. I think it's something that's invaluable, that we should have. Period. Because I mean, we're a technology based company, and it just makes sense to go that route.
And I think it, with us expanding into the municipalities like we are right now, by getting into Michigan and the other one we're working on in Arizona, I think it is. And I mean, it would be easier for us to send those reports to everybody at one time. And then you're not having phone calls come in. Can you send, once the inspection's complete and the unit's complete and the seal is gone, you're not getting the phone calls. Can you send me my inspection records? Because I mean, it automatically goes to them anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the other good thing about City Reporter was we were already set up with the trailer checklist, and we could edit the checklists
Mhm.
based on, the tiny houses, how we wanted to do those. So, I think we'll take another look at that. The only thing about, at least at the time, was we could do the video, but they had to be uploaded. They didn't automatically upload or something like that. I can't remember what it was.
We just had to put the link in,
Okay.
is what it was. We could do the photos through City Reporter, but it wouldn't do the videos. So I don't remember what we were talking and discussing to try and get that. I do know we had to just upload the link.
Okay. All right. Well, I'll take another look at that and reach out to our representative over there and see. Tony, you want to weigh in on it?
Yeah, I didn't practice on City Reporter all that much, so I really didn't know it very well. And then you guys talked about that was going to go away, so I just kind of.
Tony, what did you use for your inspection?
That's, well, the same one that I use right now for Liberty.
Which
But
is-
it doesn't have the ability to send anything.
Okay.
Yeah, unfortunately, it's fairly cumbersome. Because I've got to individually put the pictures in, individually put in, the different items that were done or not done, and it takes a while.
Okay. Ron has a question. Is there a minimum height for the main floor space under a loft?
6'6",
Yep. Finish to finish.
right? 6'6".
Unless it's over a kitchen and a bath, you can do 6'4" according to Appendix AQ.
If we want to use Appendix AQ, but I think ANSI is 6'6", even under there.
Yeah. So I'm just saying, when we go to IRC, if we're doing modulars or something like that, it could go down to 6'4".
And I'm glad you mentioned the word IRC. I don't know if I think Rich and Chad might be aware of it, but anytime that we get, well, Robin and I talked about that anytime you get beyond, was it 8'6", Robin, that we have to do IRC. In other words, if it's 10 foot wide or so.
Oh,
Is that right?
No, no. It's the way it reads is you're supposed to, if it's 8'6" or less, you're supposed to be using NFPA 1192. If it's wider than that, up to, I don't know what the width, I think it's 14 feet. I don't know if it has a maximum in it. It's ANSI 119.5, but IRC is just the building code, basically, local building code. So it doesn't, we don't have to use IRC if it's 11 feet or 12 feet or whatever, 10 feet. We still can use, in fact, we're supposed to be using ANSI 119.5 for up to 400 square feet. But what's happening is the jurisdictions don't like NFPA 1192. So they're requiring all units, even units that are 8'6" or less, to be built to ANSI 119.5, the park model.
Okay.
That's if the jurisdiction requires it to be lived in full time. Except for Maine. Maine had Maine had to say you can do anything you want. You can do 1192. You can do ANSI. They're like carte blanche. You can build a tiny house to just about anything in Maine. I don't know why, but they're like the only place in the country.
Anybody else have anything they want to add or questions?
I did have one thing I wanted to, I don't know who can do this, but maybe Sherry, you can do it, or somebody needs to do some research on Washington State. Because what I understand in Washington State, only L&I can do inspections on anything that comes into the state as an RV. So I don't know if that's true or not, but apparently someone was saying that a guy had a tiny house in a show. L&I came by and saw that he didn't have L&I do the inspection on it and fined him $10,000 for not getting L&I in. I saw Rich's expression on that one. So let's take a look at it and be proactive on it and see
Yeah,
if Washington
definitely.
State is like that.
will do.
That's all I had, guys.
Yeah, don't have anything else.
Well,
Unless somebody
wanna,
has a question.
Yeah, put your question, raise your hand. I want to say we are not going to have these things going on next Thursday. We're closed Wednesday and Thursday for Thanksgiving.
Thursday and Friday.
Wednesday and Friday.
Thursday and Friday we're closed.
Also
Thanksgiving
Wednesday.
Day is on Thursday and then Friday after.
Okay, I'm
I
sorry.
think what
What-
he's saying is there will be no Tiny Talks Wednesday night.
Oh, yeah.
You know, tiny talks. Yeah,
We'll still be working all day long.
yeah,
Then we can eat turkey on Thursday.
yeah. Absolutely.
Everybody
yeah.
to Leanne's house.
Yeah, right. Everybody is
All right.
welcome.
All right,
Yeah,
well, I
and we're
think
just going to
good.
have a short meeting here, guys, because we have some other business to take care of. So unless you have some questions specific to tiny houses or what the inspectors are doing, and you can always send in your requests and your questions to Sherry at noaacertified.org if you think of stuff throughout the week, or in the next 2 weeks, I guess it'll be now. Send those to her and she can, we can certainly address those on this Tiny Talk. But with that
Absolutely.
being said, let's give it back to Leanne. Let her bring us out of here.
All right, we're out of here. All right, guys. Thank you everyone for showing up this evening and listening to our inspectors in their chat. We appreciate you guys. So we will see you Monday, 5 o'clock sharp, same place, same time, same place. So
See
have
you
a great
guys.
weekend. Enjoy your Friday, and we'll see you on the flip side.
All right.
Thank
See you guys.
you.
Bye, guys.
Deal.
Bye, Sharon. Bye, Ron.
Bye.
You guys can just
Inspectors,
stay
stay
on.
on.
Thank you. Bye.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Ron, there's,
Yeah, I
and
don't,
he's, Ron just muted.
Oh,
There you go.
I just removed him. I've got the power.
you did? You're gonna remove me? I don't think I,
Yeah, not unless you want to be here. It's fine if
Come out
you do.
here.
yeah. I don't think you guys want my 2 cents.
Sure we do.
Did want to ask a question though. You were talking about modulars. I had a phone call from someone in Tennessee. So in Tennessee, we can inspect tiny houses on foundation. Is that
We
right?
can't, we are certified in Tennessee.
Okay,
Our problem at this point is our process has not been approved.
Hmm.
Oh.
So that's where if we can get one, and maybe like we've done in Michigan, we've had a builder that went to his local building and, got it approved by them. And then I sent everything they needed from us. He paid some money and voila,
yeah.
we can now do their inspections. So, I
That's
mean,
Aaron
yes.
Weaver.
yes,
Did you let him know that we're all good to go?
I did not. I just got the email today that she had everything she needed.
All
So
right, awesome. Okay,
And
from us.
Aaron Weaver, is that that's modular?
Yeah,
Some
he's doing
of
a
it,
600 square foot modular home.
yes.
Well, because the reason I ask is because the other states like Tennessee, New Mexico, and Pennsylvania, where we are approved to inspect modulars. However, our inspection process is not approved. As far as live stream, they want in plant. The only thing is we have to file a report every month if we do any inspections in those states that we're approved. So thus far, Tennessee makes us file a report, even if there's nothing, we file a 0 inspection report. New Mexico, they could care less. Only if we do something, we file something. Pennsylvania, same thing. We don't have to file a monthly report, just Tennessee. So if
Right.
Michigan is allowing us to do something and we're doing business there, find out if we have to file a monthly report, what it looks like and who we file it with, so that we don't get penalized.
I don't think we do. She didn't
Okay.
say anything about that. She just
Okay.
said she had everything she needed from
Right.
us, and because it's just one local county right now.
Okay.
yeah,
And in Michigan, I don't think there's 35 states that have modular programs, and I think Michigan is one of them that doesn't have a modular program. So they call the shots whatever they want.
Okay.
And so the building code official said, this is what we wanted, and we sent it to them, and they're happy.
I just don't
And it's
want to
gonna
get
be-
caught in the bad side.
It's going to be
Right.
for Michigan Electric Code and Michigan Building Code 2015.
yeah.
So.
Awesome. Groovy.
So
Now, this is
yeah,
a
I mean,
good,
if you know if one of them wants to try and help us do that to get our process approved,
in
it
Tennessee.
helps us
Tennessee.
and helps them as well.
Yeah, and we can also let Tennessee know that Michigan is doing it, and that might be
A
Yeah,
foot in the door.
And Arizona is, looking at it. So
yeah.
Good.
All right,
we're
kids.
getting there.
All right. Well, I'm gonna sign off here, my friends.
All right.
why?
Bye.
Lovely
Goodbye.
evening. Enjoy your
Bye,
If you
Leanne.
don't
decision.
like us no more.
Don't talk
Yeah.
too bad about me.
Did we say something and make you go, or?
Just gotta go buy more turkey. We're all coming for dinner. So
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, right.
okay, there you go.
And cornbread. I'm making my mother-in-law, God rest her soul, her cornbread dressing. I'm
There you
excited.
Wow.
go.
All right, you guys.
All right. Bye,
Enjoy your-
Leanne.
Bye.
Bye.
Real quick, is this
Bye.
meeting gonna be available, like, because it's a continuation of the other one?
No.
It
Is this-
it's
Stop
recorded.
recording it and then hit record again. You'll have to wait for it to upload and then, or you can just have Jordan
Oh, I do.
cut it off.
I'll just have Jordan do
Jordan
it.
can edit it.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I was asking. I know the last time we switched to a different meeting, I'm like, are our customers going to be able to see what we're talking about? No, nothing matters.
Hey,
Yeah, I
guys-
just wasn't sure if it was going to be all the same.
You guys, Kirsten is trying to come in. I'm gonna let her come in and tell her the meeting is over, that we're on a private meeting with the inspectors. Is that all right?
That's
Yeah.
fine.
Hey, Kirsten, how you doing? Can you hear me?
Oh, it says connecting.
Kirsten, can you hear me? I can unmute you, I think.
I can hear you.
Yeah, we had a short meeting already, Kirsten. And now we're in a private session trying to talk about some other issues we needed to talk about. But the whole, we had some really lively discussion here earlier, and it's available. It's all being recorded, and it's available to you on our, I believe it's in our back office, I believe it's in the back office. It's not just email Leanne at noahcertified.org and she can tell you how to get the recording, but we're in a discussion right now of some things we needed to talk about. So we didn't want to take up too much time, but thanks for showing up.
Yeah, sounds good. Thanks for letting me know.
Bye-bye.
Okay. So we
Yeah.
wanted to get some talking in on our international Turkey and Panama.
It's soon to
Tony,
be
how did
China.
Panama go yesterday?
Say that again?
Who did
Tony,
Panama?
How did Panama go yesterday?
All right.
Earth to rich, earth to rich.
I'm lost in Panama or Turkey or Panama or both. I don't know. But all right. Turkey is gone with the wind. They're really tough to get through. I know I generated an email to them and sent it off, and I mean we're gonna wait a reply, but I don't know if it's gonna work. I don't know if it's gonna pan out with them because all the products that I'm seeing in there, like I got a chance to go back through the video and look at their plumbing products, and because that was the only thing that I could find a name on, and it's nowhere. It's not a U.S. standard plumbing, plumbing, and I'm sure this thing with the wiring and everything else. I mean, I don't know if they're willing to change that, but for the future, I would say we need to make a list up front for anybody that wants to be, build any tiny houses outside the country, and say, hey, all right, we can do this, but give them a checklist and can you meet these requirements? With materials coming from the U.S. or that are approved from the U.S. and that's pretty much it. Because that's the major sticking point right now with them. Besides the communication, that's a whole other conversation. But if they can have the U.S. product, well, then we can gladly inspect it. But until then, we don't know what we're looking at. We have no idea, the quality of material. I mean, better, it could be worse, but
What are they using for studs?
they were using metal studs. It was,
Okay.
And that was the other next concern is, what's the real true gauge on them? So,
Right.
Well,
Yeah,
the
that
other-
was my thinking too.
the other thing is what Rich, is that the same one that I had looked at? That I had
Yes.
done? Did you notice their trailer? Did you look at their trailer? Did I show you the trailers? They look like they're made out of aluminum.
I don't know. Honestly, I really,
And I think they're manufacturing the trailers themselves. But the thing here's where I had thought about before. Okay, so they're saying that, okay, we got 10 houses right now. We need to get them inspected. Oh, and we're going to bring them into the United States. What if they don't bring them into the United States? and they're using their equipment, they're using their stuff. We don't know what that stuff is. When we look at it, we don't, I looked at the electric panel and I like, it was, I might as well have been looking at the moon because something I had never seen before. So how do we approve something like that, even if it's going to be used in their country? And it's not just Turkey, though. It's, I mean, we're going to be faced with that at different, other countries. So I don't
Tony, how
know.
did the Panama, what happened with Panama yesterday? Is it better than the Turkey, or is it about the same kind of deal with Panama? Andreas,
It's same deal.
same deal?
Yeah.
You mean materials or communication?
The communication was a little bit better, but materials, it's called materials, but they're just, they're just in the planning stage.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
They still have- oh, yeah, I know exactly what you're saying.
But they were talking about, well, what if we put it on a truck? And we
Oh,
put-
no, that's the other turkey builder. I'm
is that the
talking
other
about
turkey
the,
builder?
yeah, the Andreas, I think he was a stage 2 yesterday.
Oh,
or-
yeah, no, that was actually, wasn't it a consultation?
It may have been.
Yeah, because we went over the drawings and they were going to, I said to them, what we would need from them is, one, before they start anything, they'd have to send the drawings to us so we can at least see the drawings and see what they were doing, drawing or a plans review on it. I said, and the second thing is we need to have a list of the material that you're going to use as far as the plumbing material, electric material, so forth like that, because we're not familiar with the material over there. And I told them also too, that if they're going to be bringing it, and I think that's what their plan was, to bring these into the country, into here, to the US, that whether or not it was going to be an acceptable electric panel or anything that was should be listed, and it's not listed, and we get it here and they sell it to someone, that person puts it on their property somewhere, their local municipality comes out and looks at it and says, what the heck is this? So I said that, that's going to be a number of hurdles that we're going to have to kind of jump over. So it's kind of, and like I said, they are in the planning stage. They had
He called
we
it
had
an MEP consultation,
Mechanical, electric, plumbing.
yeah, that's what we call it. Yeah, there was actually, there was actually four people in the room there, but we did it like a 3-way thing.
Oh,
And so they were all, firing their questions and stuff. But like I said, for them right now, it's in the planning stage. And they're going to get back to us on it. They're going to talk over what we talked about. And then if they're going to move forward, then they're going to they'll send us the drawings in advance. I think he's going to have a couple different models. And also too, they talked about something like what we do with Tremblay. They want to be turning out so many that it's going to be difficult to get inspections on all of them. So I said, once we see the plans and once we can approve all the equipment, we can, inspect a couple of them, see how they're going. And then if they're all going to be repetitious, then we can inspect every so many, like we do with Tremblay. So they were kind of relieved with that. But we'll have to see where it goes.
Well, there's a guy I met with this morning. 2 guys actually came from Georgia that are building ANSI products, and they do 20 a month. And he's talking about the same thing, that can we work out something where, they're doing the Traveler, the whole, quality assurance manual and everything, like, the big boys Champion, and they're doing all that right now with a third-party inspector out of Alabama, but they're not really happy with them. And so they're thinking about switching to us. And I said, well, let us look at your Traveler. And
That company?
yeah, Jeremiah. Yeah.
what is it? VACAVIA,
Yeah,
cottages and cabins.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. That's
yeah.
anyway, so yeah, and so we're talking about, he sounded good. He said, how do I get signed up? So we'll see if he does, then he might be another one to to put in that other program. But I told him basically he wants to build to ANSI only. He said, I might want to just build to ANSI only, not your NOAA Plus standard. And I don't know whether we can do that or not, but he wouldn't be getting a seal for a NOAA Plus. He'd have to get a seal for just an ANSI 119. He's okay with that if he builds that. And I said, well, it's not that much more to go from ANSI to NOAA Plus. So he's going to look at our NOAA Plus standard and see if he can just, one of the things he doesn't do is he doesn't put sheeting on, and he just puts hardy board on right on the studs. And to save on weight, he doesn't put sheeting on. And I said, well, why don't you just go with that LP Smart Side, and that'll be structural. And he said, oh, that's a good idea. So we were talking, about some possibilities. So he might be able to do the NOAA Plus.
So for our questionnaire for international, we must have English speaking, UL approved materials. What else would y'all want on that questionnaire?
I would put fluent English.
Yeah, fluent.
Yeah, fluid English.
And you said not UL, but US approved or something.
Yeah, US products, but there's all kinds of testing, UL and other,
Right.
Underwriters
US
Laboratory is
approved.
not the only one.
Okay.
Yeah, Sherry, I'll snippet that letter that I sent to Turkey, and I'll send that over, just the center part, and then maybe I'll just group send it to everybody, get their input on it, and everybody can add to it or make any changes, and then send you over a final version of it.
Yeah, because my thinking is they have to answer yes to all questions. And then prior to us doing any inspections, and it's just my thinking, you can let me know how you guys feel about it, but I'm thinking that we would want them to do a consultation before any, and so that they can click yes on all these questions. But
Mhm.
I think if we do a consultation prior to, then I think we'll know for sure whether they have the fluent English speaking interpreter. If they can show us some of the approved, I'm just thinking a consultation may help us prior to them signing up. They click yes on all the questions, they sign up, and then we get to our first inspection and the yeses were just clicked. It didn't materialize. And then we have to turn around and refund all this money because we can't do it. But that's just my personal opinion on the consultation. I'm willing to go with, the majority here. But I'm just thinking that, like with Turkey right now, we've done 3 stage 3 inspections. And we're no closer
Right.
to a completion
Right.
of stage 3 than what we were with the first one. So
Right, and I know that's
therefore,
gotta be frustrating for the builder too, because he's got all that
Exactly.
money sitting there.
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah, and once
So,
you get that out.
to keep talk down, bad about Noah, because he's in Virginia, one of them's in Virginia. So all he's got to do is say, I signed up with Noah, they said they could do it. And we've been going now for 4 months and we're not anywhere close. Because
Yeah,
they keep
and-
telling us they want this and that.
The other thing that you might want to do is tell them that we only allow a half an hour for the inspection and 30 minutes. And, we've done inspections and they're, 10 minutes, 15 minutes. They shouldn't, no inspection should go more than 30 minutes. And if they if for whatever reason, we can't understand them or we can't get something through, it goes past 30 minutes, that we're going to have to shut it off and go to the next guy. And we can't go over 30 minutes with each inspection. That might be and then if they continue to fail, there should be a charge for the failed inspection. Because
But-
we do one re-inspect without any charge.
Yeah, but my thinking is with that, we didn't tell these guys up front that you've got to use US based products. You've got to be able, we weren't upfront about all this. So now we're going to come back and say, well, because you can't speak English and your English speaking interpreter doesn't understand. I mean, Tony had to show her how to look up a bathroom fan on Google.
Yeah, she had to Google it.
Yeah.
Well, I think what I'm saying is going forward with our checklist, we should have
Right.
that on the application form, let them know up front what the parameters are so that they're not blindsided
Absolutely.
with it.
Yeah.
And by the same token, they do sign a pledge to build to ANSI 119.5. And in that book, it says you have to use, listed products and,
Products, right.
so.
Do they even know what ANSI 119.5 is?
No,
Tony or Rich? Have they ever?
no.
Well, then what we should require them to do is get a copy of ANSI 119.5 and show it to us so that they know what they're supposed to be building to. I mean, to me, that's easy.
Did they make it in Turkish or
Yeah, but
any
you
of the
know-
50 dialects of Turkey?
Most people can read English, they teach it in school and stuff. So if they can talk English, they could usually read it better than they can speak it.
Oh, yeah. To give you an example, though, the ones from Panama, he showed me a push fitting for a plumbing pipe, and he said this is equivalent to shark bite that you have there in the United States. And I said, well, it may well be, but I have no way to know that it is equivalent to that because they use all push products, or they push lock on things like shark bites over there. And I said it could be. I said, but we have no way of knowing that it is. It didn't even look quite like a shark bite, but it's what they use.
Yeah.
And we don't know if any of their products have been recalled and they're using them anyway.
That's a good point too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And one more thing, we did get a China sign up today, right? They signed up.
Well, they were trying to sign up today, but they can't seem to get the payment to go through our normal system, so working on it.
So the good thing about China is they
It's a
have
good
all
thing.
US products because we buy everything from China. So there won't be any problem.
But now, all laughing aside, I brought up to Bonnie earlier, are there tax codes we need to worry about, international tax codes? Is there international business laws that we need to be aware of? I mean, just to protect NOAA.
I can share with you what I found out so far. I spoke with one of our attorneys today and explained the whole thing. They kind of know what we do. They've reviewed a lot of our stuff before in the past. And he said, you're providing an inspection service. The seal that you give them does not give them authorization to ship their products.
Import or export.
Yeah, import or export their products into the States. So NOAA is not liable for any of that. So as long as if that particular home that they're building there would pass the same codes as someone building here in Florida, for instance, then boom, you get a seal. It's good to go. It's on them to get it from there to the States. So we're in the clear on that. I have a email into our CPA to find out if there's anything tax related that we have to be concerned about. But our attorney did say we need to talk to our insurance agency under our liability, general liability, and all of that.
Professional.
professional liability policy. So I talked to our guy today. He said, let me go review your policy and see how you're covered internationally, and I'll get back with you. So I probably will hear something back tomorrow on that. But legally, we're okay as long as the home would, if it would pass here, if it passes there and it would pass here, then it's okay. And we're not liable for it coming in, and that's on them on how they get it here.
And what about money transferring from
We don't take
China or
rupees.
Turkey
We
or?
don't take rupees.
Yeah. Or crypto coins.
So, yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's dangerous in today's world, isn't it?
Yeah.
He was trying to sign up on our website and pay through the normal channels today. He was getting some kind of error codes. We couldn't get a hold of Jordan to find out what those meant. We do offer other forms of payment. You know, like we've had people send money through Cash App before, through Venmo before. And, you know, those are linked to our business bank account. So that's okay. We have a PayPal account. We've had people pay with that before. You know, so he's trying to use PayPal, but I'm trying to find our login on our PayPal account so I can get an ID number and stuff. I got hung up on that this afternoon. So China's kind of on hold at the moment, waiting on a PayPal number before he can give us any money, which is kind of good since we're waiting to hear back from our CPA as well as our insurance guy. So, but yeah, China might be. Now, Nancy did say that the guy speaks fluent English. And I said, okay, so he'll be the only one doing inspections. And she said, well, I can't guarantee that. And I said, the person that does inspections has to be fluent in English,
Yeah.
period.
Yeah.
End of story. So,
You know, his bank might be blocking him too, though, because I know my bank is Wells Fargo, and there's times when I've purchased something on the internet that was from another country and it wouldn't go through. And then I
Yeah.
got an alert, you know, on my phone that said that this purchase and such that I actually had to call them to their
Release
antitrust
it.
department to
Yeah.
free up that one and stuff like that. So it could be his bank that's actually doing it.
yeah. So that was kind of in install mode until at least tomorrow. And then we'll have to look at it then.
So I guess what we need to do is between the three of you, you need to get together and start a email that Rich can start that email with what he sent to Turkey. And I think Tony actually sent one prior to that to Turkey. So between the two of them, and Chad can maybe add some more to do a questionnaire that they must answer. And we can have Jordan put on first thing that goes out to them when it triggers it as an international.
So again, though, back even with China, so is China planning on shipping? There's going to do, what'd you say, 20 a month or something?
No, that's Georgia.
That's another one.
Oh, sure. But I mean, the one in China, are they?
We don't
planning on
know.
We don't know yet.
We don't know what kind of volume, but I understood that they most likely will be putting them in shipping containers and sending them to the States.
Send them to the States.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Selling
so-
them on Amazon.
Get them while you can.
Black Friday.
Overnight Prime delivery sounds good.
There you go. Prime.
You know,
Good free shipping.
the way our country, like us here, if we get something in from another country, piece of equipment, and it's not listed with our country. So our country, you know, the inspectors here would not approve it. Could that happen in reverse, like China building X houses and we approve them, but some of them are being sold there, and all next thing you know, their country is not accepting whatever product that they were using that was approved in the United States.
Yeah, very possible.
But that's on them. That'll have no reflection on us. If they're building to the codes that we're inspecting to, using the materials that are approved, and we give them a seal, what they do with it from then, whether they keep it in China or whether they ship it to the States, Noah's done at that point. It won't come back on us. Which was our concern. Sherry brought all this to my attention today and I said, ah, so yeah. Covering our
Always.
backsides.
Just always trying to cover Noah, but, so, Rich, if you'll send that email out to Chad and Tony, and then Tony, if you'll send the email out that you sent to them as well,
Yeah.
to
I'll send
Chad and Rich, and then
Yeah, let
And
me,
then Rich will combine them together.
and then we can combine them together to see if, and there may be a lot the same on there.
overlap. Yeah, I'm gonna
Yeah.
reformat,
Oh, I'm sure there is, yeah.
I'll reformat it to make it a yes or no, but that's.
Yeah, and then we'll figure out if we need to add anything else and think about whether we need to do a consultation before we decide to, they sign up for a full membership to see if that's something that you guys think we should do. And
No, I like that idea, Sherry. I think it's a winner all the way.
I mean, I'm just, I don't want to have to give money back. Nancy
No.
sort of gets really hot when we have to give money back. So if
And
we
it
don't
wreaks
have to
havoc with the
refund money,
bookkeeper. I'm just saying,
yeah, if we don't have to refund it, I would rather not have it and not refund it than have it and have to turn around and refund it because they can't it's not going to be cost efficient. And I know that's why they're building in Turkey and Panama right now, is because their products are probably a lot cheaper. And
their labor's probably cheaper.
And by the time they have to pay extra for US products, their labor, and then the shipping cost of getting them over here, it may not be beneficial for them at what they thought it was going to be.
And their products may not be, or their products may be much inferior to what we
Yes.
use. Because I know when I looked at the one over in Turkey, when we looked at the plumbing underneath, they were using,
Oh.
flexible stuff
Yeah.
that you would use under a sink or something like that for their drain lines and stuff underneath the house. And I said, that's really not going to fly.
Yeah.
So, all right. Well,
All right, guys.
Rich will get that out, Tony will get that out, and then you guys we'll discuss it on one of our huddles next week.
Sounds good.
All
All
right.
right.
Sounds like a plan.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
I guess we
All
should.
right,
Thanks.
appreciate you guys. Take
I guess we
care.
should